Good evening. Welcome to Sophomore and Junior Information Night. My name is Mrs. Apgar, and I'm the Junior Senior Counselor. I am here this evening with Mrs. Marriott, our freshman sophomore counselor. We view this evening as a very important session for our students who are in those in-between years. They're not quite at the end, but yet they've gone beyond that transitional freshman year. So because they're going to be stepping up next year as either a junior or a senior, we feel like this is the perfect opportunity to review with them and their families some very important topics. Those topics include our general counseling services and how all students can get support with whatever it is that they need, diploma requirements, university entry requirements. We'd like to look ahead at our registration process. And then finally, we'd like to discuss some post-secondary options. Please check out our new Kingsburg High School course description book. It's been updated for the coming school year. You will find it posted on our website. If you are like me and you prefer that hard copy, we also have those available in our office. Please drop by our attendance window, and all you have to do is just ask for one. We're going to begin with Mrs. Marriott. She will be going over our review portion this evening. Mrs. Marriott?
This is Mrs. Marriott, and I'm happy to be talking to you about our counseling services. For all students, we offer services in the areas of academics, personal social, and college and career. We're very lucky to have a college and career center and a specialist in this area with Mrs. Peterson. Her contact information is on this slide. It's also found on our website. For our 10th grade students, we have a sophomore counseling academic review activity, which happens in all of the English 2 classrooms. During this presentation and activity, we go over each student's transcript and do a checkup to see how they're doing. They also receive a college and career folder with many resources. This year's theme was Focus on What is Important. For our 11th grade students, our juniors, they receive individual student meetings in the spring and also a career day. Please be on the lookout for more information regarding Career Day, which will take place in May. Next, I'd like to look at our graduation requirements. To earn a diploma from Kingsburg High School, students must do 2 things: earn a minimum of 230 credits and receive passing grades in all of their required classes. Let's go over the required classes. Each student will take 4 years of English and earn 40 credits, 3 years of math and earn 30 credits. Math must include Math 1 or Math 1B. 1 year of physical science. Most students fulfill this requirement freshman year by taking Earth Science. 1 year of life science. Most students fulfill this requirement sophomore year by taking biology. 1 year of health and wellness. Most students at Kingsburg High School will take health and wellness their freshman year. 1 year of world history, which is taken sophomore year. 1 year of U.S. history, junior year. And senior year, 1 semester of civics and 1 semester of economics. All students must also take 1 year of a visual or performing art. This requirement can be satisfied in a variety of ways: Art 1, ceramics, band, choir, drama, or stagecraft. Students must also earn 20 credits in the area of PE. These credits can be earned through sports, marching band, cheer, color guard, regular PE, early bird PE, or athletic conditioning. Students must also take 7 elective courses and earn 70 credits in this area. Students get to choose their electives. It's very important that students take advantage of the resources that are offered to them. Beyond our counseling office and our college and career center resources, we also have after-school support in math, science, and English. This support is offered in person and via Zoom. Parents, please check our website periodically, www.kingsburghigh.com, and make sure to be checking the Aries Parent Portal. You can view important information like attendance and grades. If you have any trouble with your Aries Parent Portal, the first step is to contact Mrs. Mancini in the office. You're always welcome to call or email your child's counselor or teachers with questions or concerns. Grades and eligibility. Grades and eligibility are assessed 4 times per academic year. In order to stay eligible and to stay off of academic probation, students must maintain a 2.0 or higher with no more than 1 failing grade. Honor rolls. Honor rolls for 3.0 and above and 4.0 are awarded each semester. Students must have no D's or F's and only 1 C. Academic Block K Award, a 3.5 or higher. While enrolled in at least 4 A to G courses. The first time a student meets this qualification, an academic K is awarded along with the stripe. Each time after that, a stripe is awarded. Each time a student has earned a 4.0 over the course of 2 semesters, a stripe and a lamp are awarded. Hey sophomores and juniors, did you know getting involved in something that you're passionate about can improve your academic performance? It's true. Participating in activities that you are interested in can improve your brain function and help you concentrate and manage your time better, all of which can contribute to higher grades. I know during this time it can be tricky to find safe ways to get involved, so if you need ideas, reach out to your counselor or Mrs. Peterson in the College and Career Center. Here at KHS, there are lots of ways to get involved. You can be involved in athletics, clubs, music, drama, FFA, 4-H, student body, and there are many community programs in our town where you can volunteer and be involved.
All right, we're going to be looking ahead now with you at our registration 2021. We're approximately 2 weeks away from the start of that. I know our students are excited to start thinking about next year and signing up for their classes. Now, prior to your students' actual presentation, they will receive a packet in the mail. That packet will include all registration information. You will get summer school information, you'll get our class offerings for next year, and also a blank or a practice registration form. We suggest that you use that at home. Maybe you can fill it out at home. Your student is welcome to bring it to our presentation. At our presentation, we will give them a clean form to fill out, but they're welcome to bring the old one and just kind of look at it as they fill out the new one. During our class presentation, we will review all diploma requirements, college entry requirements. We'll also look at post-secondary options with our students. We'll explain what those options are. Students will also be working on their 4-year plans. If it's a current freshman, they will be forming their first 4-year plan at Kingsburg High School. All upperclassmen, they already completed at least one plan, so they will be asked to rewrite their plans while looking at their transcripts and taking into account their post-secondary goals. Also, during that presentation, we will review all class opportunities, including AP, ROP, and other electives. We will also discuss summer school. We're very excited to know that we are able to host a summer school session. It will be through the same platform that we used last year. It will be through the Edgenuity program. Applications will be sent home. We will also make applications available during our registration presentations. But as soon as you receive that application, encourage your student to turn it in. All applications are due back by April 28th. I wanted to share this class list with you. This is the one that you will receive in the mail. We're not going to read through every class this evening, but I just wanted to share it with you. These are all of our tentative class offerings for 2021, 2022. They're all divided up by department. And one thing I did want to point out to you was at the bottom of the page, it's that little rectangular box at the bottom. That's actually a very important box to look at as you're discussing courses with your students. Often we as counselors are asked, is this a college preparatory course? Will the university accept this? Can I get dual enrollment credit with this course? Sometimes the athletes want to know, is this an NCAA course? Well, all of that information is actually on the paper. And you can tell by the little asterisks or little stars, whether it's got a double star, an arrow, a single star, you can tell what that means by looking at the bottom, by looking at that key. So it is a very important sheet as you're helping your students to make decisions. All right, I wanted to discuss a little bit about what AP choices our school is offering students next year. And prior to that, for some that might be listening this evening, maybe you're not sure what AP stands for. AP stands for Advanced Placement. And though we are a small school, we actually have a very healthy advanced placement program, meaning we have 12 offerings. They are not offered necessarily every single year. Some are on a rotational basis, and I'll share those in a moment. But some of the benefits of taking an AP course, that's another question we get as counselors. Students want to know, why would they want to take a harder class? But there are actually some great benefits to being in an advanced placement course, especially if you are a pretty solid student grade-wise, you have good study habits, you're responsible, you're mature, and you're looking ahead to college someday. Well, there are three main benefits to being in the AP class, and the first is actually it's the opportunity for advanced level coursework. An AP class is a more rigorous class. It gives a student more challenge, and it is just the thing sometimes that they need to prepare themselves for college, whether they're going to start at the community college or the four-year university. An AP class can help prepare that student for that entry-level college work. The second thing is that it looks great on the transcript. So again, if you are a student and you're thinking about applying to a four-year university, that AP class shows that student challenged himself or herself. They went over and above the minimum entry requirements. They weren't afraid of that challenge, and they placed themselves in a class, that was a lot harder with a lot more rigor. Now, along with that challenge, something that students really enjoy, what they like about the AP classes, is that they have that opportunity to get what is called a weighted grade. Weighted grade. So just like it sounds, they get an extra point that is averaged in their GPA as long as they earn at least a C grade in that AP course at the semester. So whatever letter grade they earn, they will get an additional point averaged into their GPA. So that is a really, I think that's probably one of the favorite things that students enjoy about those courses. As long as they're in that class for the year and they take the AP class, we do allow that weighted grade to be added or averaged into the GPA. And the third benefit is the possibility of earning college credit. At the end of the school year, students across the nation in the month of May take their AP exams. If a student gets a passing score, and by passing, sometimes it's what that university determines is passing for their school and in a particular subject, there is that possibility that student could get units at the school they will be going to someday. Again, that is up to the university to determine what their passing score is, and also what subject they will be giving units for, as far as that class and that test that the student passed. All right, so there you have it. I think the three main benefits of being in an AP class. Here's a look at our AP offerings. There are 12 of them, as I said earlier. The offerings that are listed in the white font are every single school year. The ones that are in the yellow font are on rotation. We can offer them every other school year. We try our best, at least, to offer them every other school year. Our students have gotten very good about the rotations, and they've been able to plan ahead, for those rotations. Now, the exams, this year's price was $86 at our school per exam, and there are fee waivers that are available to families. To qualify for a fee waiver, it is always based on a family's personal finances. And just a gentle reminder at the bottom in that bright blue font for anyone listening who is taking an AP class this year, your final AP payment is due by April 1st, and that final payment is $46. So you'll want to see Mrs. Lund as soon as you can. All right, let's look at some of our ROP class offerings. ROP stands for Regional Occupational Program. These are great electives offered on a high school campus. They incorporate academic courses with career exploration. Students take incredible courses where they are able to learn certain job skills for a particular career pathway. In some cases, students are able to earn certifications in some of these ROP courses. And there are still some other courses, ROP, in which there may be a dual enrollment credit possibility. These are all marked on that course offering sheet that I shared with you just a little bit earlier. And dual enrollment, for those of you who maybe haven't heard those words before, what that is that's a program that a student can sign up for that will allow them to earn college credits on their college transcript. At the same time, they're earning high school credits for their high school transcript. So that's called dual enrollment. Here's a look at some of our ROP classes that we are offering next school year. If you look carefully, we have many different career pathways represented, including education up at the top. We also have the criminal justice and CSI courses for students who are interested in exploring police work, law enforcement type work. We've got the digital photography courses. Our ag department offers several ROP courses, including the fabrication and construction courses, as well as the advanced animal science and ornamental horticulture, known as OH. We have stagecraft, design, and as well as publication or publishing management. That is our yearbook course. And then we offer several medical related pathways, including first aid and safety, medical terminology, sports medicine. A little bit in the middle there on the list, you'll see the CNA program, which is Certified Nursing Assistant. Above that, you'll see the manufacturing and engineering courses, as well as the urban and rural firefighting, wildland, aviation, the automotive, and then the newest one is at the very bottom, and that's the engineering technician. Now, you'll see two different colored fonts. The white courses and the white font are offered on Kingsburg High School campus. The ones that are in yellow are offered at other locations. Two of the courses in yellow have transportation that is provided. That is for the automotive program and for the urban rural firefighting program. During our registration presentations, we do talk quite a bit about post-secondary options and a little bit about our post-secondary planning. And you've probably heard us say often, if you've been to some of our other presentations, that Kingsburg High School students are really, they truly are everywhere. We have some that go to the military, probably, I want to say approximately 10% will go either into the military or they will start work immediately. We have other students that choose career tech programs, and then still others that are going to start their education at the community college. And we also have students that are going directly to a four-year university. Most of those students are staying in California, but we also have students who are venturing out of California to a university in a different state. A little bit about military. They do require a high school diploma, and they also require a test called the ASVAB test. Now, normally in non-COVID years, we do offer the ASVAB test. We try to offer it at least twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. And whether you're going to go towards the military or maybe you're not going towards the military, the ASVAB test is actually a very valuable test for students to take. If there's any student who is interested, we do allow them to sign up. Again, it's an optional test. Why it's valuable is it's a wonderful career tool. Students are tested in many different subject areas, and the part that students enjoy the most is when they get their results back. They get to see their results, they get to see what areas they are strongest in and what career paths match students with those natural abilities. So sometimes students come away with different career ideas, perhaps career paths that they had never thought of before that ASVAB test. Students who do take the ASVAB test are in no way obligated to the military. So that's important, I know, for our families to know. Some of our students are going towards the vocational or career tech programs, and those are wonderful programs. There's a vast array of careers out there that require, we call it shorter term or short-term education, perhaps 1 or up to 2 years of college. And they finish that program, finish certifications with a career, and they're ready to be employed. Now, as far as the vocational and career tech programs go, they can be found at many of our local community colleges. You can also find those programs at private schools. Some of our more popular programs that we hear students talk about, I would say fairly frequently, would be the fire and police academies that are housed at the community college. And then also very popular are the medical programs. But in addition to these fields, there are multiple other fields. HVAC, there's mechanics, there are things in welding, technology, and many more. They do vary by college as far as where you can find that career or that program and so on. Now, the other great thing about a community college is, in addition to offering the vocational career tech programs, they also offer transfer programs. A transfer program would be appropriate for that student who desires a four-year degree someday, and maybe money is an issue, or maybe they weren't quite ready to leave home yet, so they did not apply to a four-year university. Maybe it's a family decision for that student to stay home another 2 years. Or another possibility is perhaps they didn't take certain classes that they needed in high school to be able to apply to that four-year university. But regardless, the community college is a great place to start. They offer athletic programs. They offer the chance to earn an Associate of Arts or Science degree, that is really good too. They also offer honors programs. Students will begin at the community college and take their freshman and sophomore years, or approximately 60 units, before they are allowed to transfer. Here's just a little glance on this slide at some of our mostly local community colleges. In the state of California, there are 116, and the ones on the slide are our local ones, including Reedley, Fresno City, Clovis, COS in Visalia, and of course, West Hills is in Kings County. I mean, it's a deal you just can't beat these days. With the new laws in place, students are either getting free tuition or even if they didn't get free tuition, it's an extremely affordable avenue to start at a community college. Now, as far as the free tuition, they do have a set of rules that you have to follow in order to claim that. So just be aware of that. Now, for those students who are looking ahead to the four-year university system, in the state of California, we have these three systems in place, and I'll talk just a little bit about each one, and I'll show you a couple maps in just a moment. But we have our CSU system, and Fresno State is part of that CSU, or California State University system. Then we have our UC system, which is University of California, and our closest one is UC Merced. And then independent, I just mean private schools. There are many private schools also throughout the state of California. And you've probably heard of Fresno Pacific, and that's our closest private school. Now, for students who are considering applying to a four-year university, it's very important that they take care of their at least minimum, A to G requirement list. You have to take care of this at the high school level, and these are the requirements that the CSU and UC have in place, again, for students who want to try to enroll at one of their campuses. The requirements include 4 years of college preparatory English, 3 years of math. At our school, the ones that will count, the minimum years that count, are Math 1A and 1B, or Math 1, and then that has to be followed up with completion of Math 2 and Math 3. Now notice in yellow, I put 4 years recommended. And, when a university says recommended, for our students in the audience that are listening this evening, that's a really nice, gentle way of saying you really probably should take that 4th year. 2 years of history, social science, and at least 2 years of a lab science, and we have many selections for that. We always have students do at least 1 physical and 1 life science for that category. Now notice there's the nice little yellow there, 3 years recommended, so of course we want our students to do more than the 2. And then at least 2 years of the same foreign language. Again, they recommend more. Moving on to the next slide. 1 year of a visual or performing art class. And remember, you can count any of our band classes for that category, any singing type or vocal class, art and ceramics count there, drama, as well as stagecraft. So we have many, many possibilities at our school. And then finally, students need to take and pass at least 1 college prep elective. And that can be anything above those minimums. It can be more math, it can be more science, foreign language. And thinking back to that list of classes I showed you earlier, there are actually multiple college prep elective choices at our campus. So you'll want to look down at that key that I pointed out as you're choosing electives maybe to put in your schedule, especially if you're looking to apply to a four-year university someday. Now, what kind of grades, should students have? Well, the minimum Again, this is the minimum grade that that university is looking for, is at least a C or higher every semester in all of their A to G coursework, their college prep or academic or A to G coursework. Now, as far as testing goes, you've probably heard a lot this year about the SAT and the ACT, and you've probably heard that for this year's class, the class of 2021, the CSU system and the UC system are not requiring test scores because of the difficulties that students have had in trying to find a place to test. Everyone's canceled again due to the COVID restrictions. So now, what does that mean for next year's class, the class of 2022? And what we are hearing at this time, the updates that Mrs. Peterson and I have received at this time, is that the CSU system and the UC system are not going to be requiring that for the class of 2022 as well. However, it just makes me nervous to take that off my slide, and so I'm not going to. What I always tell students, and I tell parents as well, is that we are going to continue to check for updates. That is what we're hearing at this time, but the fall is quite a ways away. So we will have those updates prepared for you for our annual senior night. Now, if you're someone that's thinking about a private university, they have their own set of rules. So we will also want to check updates for private schools as well. And that's something we can assist you. You can check at home. But again, that's a great reason to visit our College and Career Center, is to have Mrs. Peterson help check those updates for you. Now, most schools across the nation this year, again, they either did away with these tests or they made it test optional for the class of 2021, even private schools. Okay, I love to show students the maps. We usually supply the CSU map and the UC map to our sophomores during their sophomore academic presentations. That Mrs. Marriott talked about the presentations a little bit earlier this evening. But this is the CSU map. It's a wonderful visual. There are 23 California State University campuses in our state. And the CSU system is one of the largest public education systems in the entire United States. Now, what do they base admission on? How do they admit students? They admit students first on those A to G requirements. Students need to finish those 15 A to G requirements. Those are the minimum entry requirements. The other thing that they look at students for is that academic GPA. How did the students do in those requirements? Prior to COVID, as mentioned, they also took into account an SAT or ACT score, but you can see I'm adding check updates. Again, they are not using those scores this year for 2021, and they have said that they're not going to be using them next year. But we've read that, but we have not heard an official announcement from the chancellor yet. So again, we're going to keep checking for updates. As far as costs this year, it depends on the location, but the tuition costs were $6,000 to $8,000 a year. Now, that doesn't include housing costs, however. So that tuition, that just means that, to go to the school, to take classes, to sit in the classroom and so on. That's what it costs. Okay, a little look at the UC system. And again, the map. You'll see 10 of them on that map. One is a graduate school for medical careers. So that would be UC San Francisco. But, we have UCs, again, up and down California. The UCs are very well known across the United States. They are also public, and they are known for their research. They are research institutions. That's their specialty. They also house medical centers, law schools, laboratories, to name a few things. Now, what do they base their admission on? They actually have many factors of admission. And we're including a few of those this evening on the slide. The ones that we're including, I feel are probably some of the most important factors, and they are A to G requirements. Did the student finish their minimum A to G requirements? Academic GPA, meaning, how did the student do in their academic courses? What is their GPA? How did they get that GPA? What kinds of classes did they choose? Did they seek out classes with extra challenge? Did they just do the minimum? Did they go above and beyond? And then always prior to COVID, same thing. There was the ACT or SAT. But as I've said, a couple times, we will be checking on updates, even though they've already stated that they will not be using those scores for 2022 students. The other thing that the UC has students do is actual writing. They have students put together, I call them little mini essays. This year, they gave students 8 choices, 8 prompts for possible questions to focus on. Students had to choose 4 questions to write those little mini essays on. And the UC application it's fairly hefty. I have a son who filled this out this year, online, and it's a pretty big application. In addition to, they want to know everything, the classes, of course, GPA, they want the writing, but they also wanted to know about the student's resume. What kinds of leadership activities did the student have? Was the student in any clubs? Did he or she do sports? Did they work? So there were many of those kinds of categories for students to fill out, not just with a listing, but with also an explanation. So it did take quite a bit of time to complete that application for my own son. And then finally, I just wanted to talk briefly about some of those private schools. Again, there are over more than 75 in the state of California, our closest one being Fresno Pacific University. Some private schools have a religious affiliation, others don't. And for some students I meet, some of them that's important to them. So we have that in California, which is great. And students will apply in different ways. Some students will apply through the school's website. That might be possible. And then another possibility might be if the school is associated with a platform called the Common App, the student will be able to apply through that, commonapp.org. They'll set up a profile, they'll set up their own, free account, and then they do everything through that system. For many private schools, they do ask for writing, different essays for the students to complete, thought questions. They supply the prompts. They might ask for recommendation letters from teachers, counselors, and they will ask again for those activities, what their resume list, what has the student been doing, clubs, a community, volunteer, working, and so on. And then again, prior to COVID, they were always asking for testing. But, this year that seems to have been canceled out by most schools, whether they were public or private. So we will have to check again next year for those privates. And then the tuition costs vary. So to check tuition costs, you will want to go onto the website and just see. And don't forget there's tuition, and then there's always housing. And often when you're looking online, they will separate them. So you'll have to add those figures together as you're deciding. Okay, I wanted to address our athletes. We get quite a few athletes at Kingsburg High School. And some of those athletes decide that they love their sport so much, they have so much passion for it, and they're incredibly gifted at their sport that they would like to try to play at the college level. And, we've had many successful athletes leave our school and do just that. And that is not an easy thing to prepare for, because in addition to being, I want to say, a very regimented student athlete, that type who's very responsible, they go to their practices and keep up their schooling, that's not easy. So what I'm wanting to share with you on this slide is a little explanation of what student athletes have to do in addition to taking care of those A to G requirements that I already shared with you. If they're going to be trying to play at a school that is considered an NCAA school, that stands for National Collegiate Athletic Association, if they're going to be playing for a school like that, then they're going to have to take certain courses at the high school level to be able to be eligible or cleared to play at a Division One or Division Two under NCAA. They're very specific about those requirements. They call them 16 core courses. And those courses are in, just like it sounds, the core subjects like English, math, science, social science, and foreign language. In addition to that, prior to COVID, they had to submit an SAT or an ACT score. Not this year, however, but again, we will keep checking for updates for next year. Students also had to pay a registration fee. If you would like more information about the NCAA, please check out eligibilitycenter.org. We also keep flyers in our counseling offices, so you can send your student in for a flyer. Now, if you're a younger student thinking about this, maybe you're not ready to go on and register yourself, you can set up a free profile, which we do recommend some of our younger athletes that they do, especially the freshman, sophomore grade level. Now, another agency that also certifies eligibility is called NAIA. There are probably, I want to say, about at least 250 NAIA schools across the nation. And generally, these are your smaller schools, National Association of Intercollegiate Athletes. And I believe UC Merced is an NAIA school. So there are different things that they do to certify eligibility. They also have required in the past an SAT or ACT test. Now, if a student athlete can qualify for NCAA, then yes, they're most likely going to qualify for NAIA because the NCAA is much harder to qualify for. Now, for more information about NAIA, you can go to playnaia.org. Oh, and one more thing I want to add, during the registration process, if you are an up and coming, junior, definitely, or senior, and if this is something that you are trying to do to play your sport in college, you'll want to tell the counselor who's registering you, so that we can mark that on your registration form, and then we can do a NCAA check of your transcript to make sure that you are taking the right classes to be certified. For our juniors in the audience, next year, when we see you in the fall, we will lay out a senior timeline for you. This will be done at our Senior Information Night session. So at that point, you will come to our school, hopefully, with your families, and we will talk about the requirements to graduate. We'll review again those college entry requirements. We'll discuss your post-secondary options. And we will also talk in greater depth about the college application process. So I wanted to emphasize on this slide that you will not be alone in any of this. I don't want you to stress out about it. The most important thing that you can do at this time is really right at the bottom of this slide. Focus on your grades, make those transcripts as strong as you can. This is also a wonderful time to do your college and career research. You can do that at home, of course, but you can also come into our College and Career Center, have an appointment set up with Mrs. Peterson if you like, or just go in there and do your research. And then the third thing is to think about some experiences, if you don't have many yet, but some things that we could put on your resume. Leadership experiences. These can be things that you do in the community. It can be religious experiences. It can be volunteer work, um, jobs, clubs, sports, whatever it is that you enjoy doing and that allows you an opportunity to be a participant and to be a leader are some of the things that I'm looking for on your behalf. The other thing I wanted to mention is you see that guy in the middle there, that turkey, probably glaring back at you, and you're wondering why exactly we would have that in an academic presentation. Well, that's the old turkey guy that we use every year in probably one or two of these presentations. And it's really become a symbol now. And it's a symbol for that year's senior class. And the message of the turkey is this. By the time that turkey goes in the oven, the application process is probably just about over or is over, especially if you will be applying to a CSU or a UC campus next year. So again, by the time the turkey goes in the oven, the process is about over. Now, that might not be exactly true for some of your private schools, but it is for these public ones. Okay, this slide represents Mrs. Peterson's College and Career Center informational slide. The College and Career Center is a very, very important resource for our school and for our students. Mrs. Peterson works with students at every single grade level, but probably she does, as you can imagine, her most work is done with the seniors. We work very closely together senior year. As a school counselor, my focus is on getting that student through to graduation with their high school diploma, whereas Mrs. Peterson's focus is going to be more in the post-secondary realm. You know, what is that student's choice for post-secondary, and how can she make sure to support that student in that choice? You know, with their plan. What is their plan? How are they going to make that plan happen? And so on. And she is very excellent at doing that. She's also available most days, unless she has a special meeting, but before school, between sessions, and after school. So students can also catch her at that time. And again, if I didn't already say it, she will take personal appointments. But, look at the slide. I mean, she's got a lot of events that she plans for our students. And it's college things. We have community college sessions. We have military that comes in and meets with students who want more information, and just a ton of things. So please check out Mrs. Peterson and the College and Career Center. All right, this brings us to the end of our presentation, and I am very, very happy that you joined us this evening. If you do think of a question or you have a concern, please reach out to the appropriate counselor, or if it's more in that College and Career Center type realm of topics, please reach out to Mrs. Peterson. We're happy to talk with you on the phone. We can do email, and we can even do things like Zoom or Google Meets. You just got to let us know. And students that have questions, you can bring your questions to registration when we start that, or if you want a question answered prior to registration, you too, please come in. You can sign in our office to see us, and you can also email us questions. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.